Welcome back, everybody. It is the Working Brother back at you with another talk, and this time we've got the Serbian Dolphin, also known as Delfin iz Čikaga, Srpski Dolphin, the Dolphin from Chicago.
Chicago Dolphin or Terminally Online, whichever one you like.
Chicago Dolphin it is. So, you are a Serb who's been online forever. And I ran into you long before I actually became the Working Brother in a chat that is run, you can loosely say, by MI6.
By our most favorite MI6 operative on Telegram, also known as Michael, the emo fanboy de la Block.
Yeah, we'll get into that, but first, for everybody who's new here, this is a comedy show. Nothing we say has anything to do with reality, and now that disclaimer is out of the way, Delfin, you from your profile picture, you look like a Serb.
Even if I wasn't, I would try to be one.
Excellent. I can't blame you. It's not bad being a Serb. Of all the choices, it could be the best. I don't want to sound prejudiced. Tell us more about yourself. Where are you based, and why are you terminally online?
Terminally Online begins from my previous shall we say, workings and employment, which actually wasn't employment per se, because basically every work we did was voluntary for Donald Trump's campaign back in 2016. And from that, and even before that, but
wait, so you're saying you're a Make America Great Again Dolphin? Basically,
was at that point. Right now, I am pretty much torn between Trump and the God knows what else. But considering how the general things are developing, I presume that at this point, even the isolationist America of Trump wouldn't be much beneficial to anyone in the world. That basically the only way how we can actually get some semblance of functional societies and functional life back within our own lifetimes is for the empire to continue to deteriorate and until it eventually collapses. Because only from that collapse can we actually start to have something meaningful. Otherwise, the phases of attempted isolationism by either Trump or Trump-like candidate, in this case, the next one would be his vice presidential candidate, Vance. But even that has proven itself, especially in the matters of the country named 404, is that cannot be achieved with isolationism anymore. The only way for any one of us to be truly free of them and their influence is for them to collapse. Unfortunately, it is so.
Don't you think Putin's recent invitation to everybody who doesn't feel they belong in the West? This is, by the way, sent in from a subscriber. You can also send in your memes if you join the chat on Telegram and drop them there. This was a prompt by Nebojša Malić's response to Putin's decree about, if you're unsatisfied with the West, you can come you can come to Russia. Did you hear about that?
Yes, I did. However, that would be the similar option to what many in the American dissident circles, not the American right or anything, because even American right in itself is deeply established and is a part of establishment. But in the American dissident community, basically, which consists of true Americans, basically your gung-ho hillbilly from, I don't know, Appalachian Virginia or Tennessee or Kentucky or people like that. They had what can only be described as a kind of a fetish before the entire stuff with the Country 404 began, was that they were very much in love with Hungary, with Orban's Hungary. And many of them were like, oh, I'm going to move to Hungary. I'm going to move to this beautiful Hungarian city, town, village, or whatever, with unpronounceable name. And logically, that many within Hungary itself, many Hungarians were reacting very aggressively to that, with varying levels of hostility. But that is not a solution. If you want to fix problems, it is basically this very similar to the saying within our common nation, which is like loosely translated into English, it is like let the shit stink or let the shit smell. However, the point of that, which I always like with that attitude, which I found wrong for my entire life, is that you are constantly giving ground. You're constantly giving ground, you're losing, you're moving away until you have nowhere else to go. What will you do when you have nowhere else to go? So moving from America to Russia doesn't work. Because, okay, let's say that entire American dissident community, let's say that even Trump and every single voter of his moved to Russia. What will we have then? Can you first comprehend how the huge number of people? Second of all, even if they all decide to basically like apply for the merciful grant of citizenship and everything by the Russian current regent in power, Vladimir Vladimirovich, what will that achieve? Will that fix America? Will that somehow tilt the current state on the field in any manner, be it with the war in the 404 or in current societal collapse within the West itself? Will it suddenly, I don't know, turn the entire thing on its head? It will not. As much, it is basically just another gaffe by Putin, which is like, oh, I'm drawing a red line. Yeah. How many red lines will you draw before they cut your head off?
I think the fact that they said that there's no more negotiation with Ukraine pretty much sums up their new stance. But I wanted to get back to you and introduce people to a little bit of your lore, because Serbian subscribers or people who are watching might actually know who you are, but others might not. So, like, other than your activities in the U.S. With the Trump campaign in long ago, let's say, which is now forever ago.
Truly, it sounds like a different lifetime.
I met you in, or like ran into you, let's say, defending the Serbian and Russian perspective in MI6 chats about 2 years ago, even before I became the working brother. And only after I chatted to you privately did I find out actually who you kind of are. So do you want to like clue in people a little bit to like, you know, I know nobody likes to brag about themselves, but like from what I understand, you've been online since, you know, the memes about the F-117 basically. You know?
Well, a little bit after that, but at that point I was still just a young kid who was, I might even say that at that point I was pretty much believing their propaganda. But after this entire time, which any one of us can say that basically we've done everything they wanted and still we've gotten nothing in return. So basically at this point, even a 5-year-old can see through their eyes.
What do you mean we got nothing in return, man? What do you mean we got nothing in return? Like, don't you see how beautiful, like, Serbia is now that we're, like, only 10, 12 years from maybe possibly getting the permission to maybe join the list, to join the EU? Like, it's beautiful now. And it's been 20 years better every year. You don't see it? And like, what about you? You're now in Europe, and you're there, like, visa-free, because Europe is amazing, and we love Europe, right?
Thank you for
comedy
your best
show,
impression.
Man. Comedy show.
No, best. I must congratulate you on the best impression of my ex-girlfriend. That's for starters. I mean, you really much sounded like her until she wanted to go to Great Britain, and then dragging her through the mud to obtain a British visa. That pretty much changed her entire point. Up until that point, she was basically your elementary liberal, which is like, our glorious tennis player Djokovic, he is representing us so wonderfully to them. We have truly become the part of the civilized West and everything like that. Until basically she wanted to apply for the visa for Great Britain. But the British embassy in Belgrade, which was at that point located in Resavska Street, a little bit away from the Joint Chiefs of Staff headquarters of the staff of the commander of the army, which they of course bombed. At that point, they told her to go to their special consulate, which is issuing visas for entire Eastern Europe, which is ironically enough located in Warsaw. And then she got 2 slaps in the face. First one was, of course, from the Polish. Because, I mean, like, come on, Polish people, right? I got mine a little bit later. However, then she got rejected over some minuscule, basically administrative issue. And it took her another 2 years to attempt again. And then they allowed her entry. And basically at that
they
point,
allowed her in the end?
Yeah, and at that point, yes, I know every single possible meme you can run on, she got in. Or she went inside a London or anything like that. Yes, all jokes apply because the experience which she received there is basically like she came back and at several points, she actually sounded far more right-wing than basically any of us can ever dream to be. Such is the wonderful experience people get from doing anything which is remotely anger-related.
I went to France long time ago, and I had
my condolences. My condolences for that.
I know, but it was good that it was at least like, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years ago now. But even then it was tragic. Speaking of, do you have any comments on the what we saw in Paris recently? I mean the Olympics. I mean the satanic. I mean the like calling of Lucifer, or like, did you see the closing ceremony?
I saw the opening ceremony, and that was enough for me to realize that I should not watch the closing ceremony. So I was blissfully unaware of the closing ceremony, and I aspire to remain as such.
Okay,
even if you want to show me the video, please don't, because I want to keep my eyes where they are. I want to prevent my eyes from bleeding.
I already shocked you with a picture that I won't shock the audience with today.
Yes, basically, That picture should go
listen,
with...
No, we'll make a whole episode. When you come back, we'll do a whole episode on Gunther. We'll do all the Gunther memes.
Yes, but if we go into that, I think that will rightly be called your gayest episode ever, because it will be more gay than a gay porn movie. Trust me. Anything involving Gunther leads to that.
That's probably true. Yeah, let's review some Serbian memes for a change.
But I would just want to finish going away from all the jokes about traveling to Europe, or you performing a perfect impression of those that are still believing their lies and everything. I have went there, but not as a full-time, which is like the German term. Yes, the English translation is guest worker, but then again, the word is misapplied when it comes to our people who went there during the glorious years of Yugoslavia, glorious years with big marks of sarcasm for that. But the point is that, like, I go there, I work, I come back, and I spend the money I earn there, I spend here. Pretty much. So basically, that is one of the reasons why I'm also terminally online, because there it is only workplace, additional studies for acquiring high-level diploma. Basically, I have a diploma and I'm working for my master degree. I am not sure if I will head into doctorate degree in my field. Field is simply civil engineering, road construction, tunnel construction, and bridges.
Nice. You're a civil engineer.
Yes, and finally, of course, that possibly causes big pain to our dear and beloved president when he says that people go there, work for 6 months, and then come back here and live for 6 months as kings. Which actually isn't true. I go and I work there for about 10 months. And to be a little bit vulgar, I work my ass off for a decent paycheck. Then I come back and I spend 1 month recovering. And that after that, it's 1 month of seeing if I can do, which I vowed myself that I will. After surviving the entire lockdowns related to the virus, which must not be named, because if it's named...
We've got a new one now. It's called the moneypox. Did you see the moneypox?
I saw it 2 years ago when it was conveniently memory hold, because they discovered that somehow, I don't know, possibly by pure coincidence, it somehow got transferred from a gay adult male, to a young male child. And at that point, the entire virus was memory hold until it became quite appropriate to draw it out of a drawer again. At this point, it is basically it is serving the same purpose
time,
for
man.
which.
That's why.
Yes,
it's election time.
Yes,
it's election time.
It is the same purpose which is being done by the Ukrainian offensive into Kursk region. It is not even for their benefit. It is solely for the benefit of a certain election cycle in certain country. That is all.
Delfin. Yes, you. It's good that you have a good grasp on the on the comedy and the humor that we're living through. I just want to remind people that this channel is not eligible for monetization. There are links to my Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee down in the description. And I wanted to ask Delfin, is there anywhere where people can find you online, or just random chat rooms?
Well, no. When it comes to random chat rooms, I'm almost always there to remind Michael of his sexual orientation. But besides that, you can only find me by my simple Facebook page. However, that is again inapplicable for our foreign audience because everything I post is pretty much Serbia related and is in Serbian Cyrillic, which again, if we apply their prejudices, how did they say it? Looks like, oh yeah, it looks like hieroglyphics. So I guess we are all Egyptians now, right?
Well, we are communicating in emoji, so we're slowly turning into the Egyptians. I wanted to take a little break and read something here that is the source of these memes and something that we were discussing earlier. Nebojša Malić, the nebulator, posted...
Yes.
I'm quoting now. I can't put it on screen, but I'll read it out loud. Putin has long talked about Russia being a sort of an ark for Western civilization, Christendom at least. And today he actually took a step to formalize it. With an edict fast-tracking residential permits to Westerners fleeing the woke ideology. The thing to understand about Russia and immigration is that they are really good at integrating people. It is also one of the reasons that they don't really do the ethno-nationalism. It is coercive to the kind of plurinationalism, but not multiculturalism that they prefer. Incidentally, it translates really poorly to the Balkans, causing me a fair few headaches over the years trying to explain Yugoslavia's demise to the Russians. Meanwhile, in the West, the UK is emptying out prisons to make room for political convicts, while the US is celebrating our democracy, i.e. rule of Democrats, with mobile abortion and vasectomy vans outside the DNC in Chicago. No, really. Which way Western meme made manifest? And we've got a meme sent in by Rohit, because I asked for somebody to actually make a meme. So we've got the classical meme, which way Western man. How would you react to that, Dolphin?
I would say that basically even for us, it is very hard to integrate in such a society such as Russia, let alone for a Westerner. So yes, the memes are good, memes are healthy, memes are funny, but again, when it comes to the hardships of real life, it is back to my original point, it is futile. Even, as I said, like any sizable movement of people which are dissidents in the West or dissidents in America or in which again, like currently the most alert zone is actually not America itself or even France, it is actually United Kingdom, because yet again, I must remind everyone on the statement of Elon Musk, which is yes, civil war in United Kingdom is at this point pretty much inevitable. First of all, English people are much more impulsive than Americans. They have that pretty much quite similar to us, the entire Balkans mentality, and they are also relying on hundreds of years of self-imagined superiority. And at this point to basically, and I'm not talking about their societal elites, which are ruling the country. Your average Tony Blair with his consulting company who is now consulting you know who. No, I'm talking about the average, basically, North Football Club fan. Come on, England, score some goals! Such type of person. Such type of person, no matter the age, at this point, such type of person has been for decades pumped into with any propaganda was the underlying thing that even multiculturalism in Great Britain is because of British superiority to the entire world. That is their exclusivity, which is like they are so divine and we are so basically we are pretty much monkeys in the jungle who need to be uplifted by the worthy white man. And at this point, when the worthy white man is out of position of power, not again within the societal elite, but within his daily life, that is the point at which such a person will become quite radical, quite violent, and again, combined with their own impulsiveness, which was pretty much well channeled through decades of football hooliganism. What is the point what is the point when that football hooliganism cannot be contained to evil tweets and hateful messages towards German fans when it comes to Euro in the previous Euro run, which was in 2021? What happens then? What happens when that football hooliganism hits English streets?
This is what happens.
We have seen that with the burning of a hotel, which was housing those, migrants or whatever.
Yeah.
And pretty much at that point, it becomes not unsustainable system. It becomes an open collapse. Basically, the greatest parallel again with every modern civil war is Spain, but presently United Kingdom is approximately in an early spring of 1936, and we all know when that civil war started.
So you're saying it's going to be UK Civil War and then World War open? Do you think we're in World War III? Most of my guests already think we're in World War III.
Yes, definitely so. Definitely so. The only thing is that currently still not cooler heads, definitely not cooler heads, but cowardice is the only thing that is preventing everyone from seeing nukes flying over our heads. That is the only thing that is currently holding the world together. The cowardice of the elites.
Thank you to everyone who's bought me coffee.
Their desire for self-preservation. Because we have seen, especially if we will go back to the opening of Macroniad in France, is that basically they are already at a point where you remember the old saying which was used in America by the leftists against Christians and against the dissidents and everything else, like it's a slippery slope, slippery slope, slippery slope. You know that phrase.
Yeah.
So basically when people who were radical Christians there and dissidents were warning everyone that one thing will lead to another. So from baking a cake for a gay couple, you will eventually have transsexuals or gay men in drag costumes reading children stories in kindergarten. Everyone laughed.
You have trauma from Chicago, huh? You have trauma from Chicago. Huh?
Now we are living that. No, when it comes to Chicago, I am pretty much, or Chirac, whichever one you prefer. I'm pretty happy to report that currently air is only 17% bullets. So there still might be some chance for you to survive if you go out on the street. But what we have witnessed in France was that it's not a slippery slope anymore. It's falling into the abyss, but those who are driving are still pushing on the pedal. They're still pushing on for the maximum acceleration because they don't know when to hit the brakes. That is why they have repeatedly crossed every red line, which, for example, Putin has placed around him and his own affairs. It is not because they saw through his veneer and they are so smart and they know that he will chicken out or anything like that. Certainly not that. It is just that they are at the point at which they don't know how to stop anymore. And the only thing that is preventing either them or Russians from launching the nukes in general is either side's cowardice and willingness to basically self-preserve themselves. They don't want to kill themselves by launching the nukes on the other side.
You know, the Russians have a saying that there's going to be a Russia or there's going to be no world. So, I think with the change in nuclear doctrine recently, the Russians are definitely upping the ante, as one would say in English. Do you want to give us a review of Europe, or do you want to get into lithium mining in Serbia?
I can cover both. I will start with a short review of Europe. However, that is the thing which I can tell you pretty much directly. The thing when I figured out that Michael was an MI6 operative. I was actually very, in the beginning, I was very friendly towards him and he was very friendly towards me. However, the point in which he uncovered himself was when I basically presented my theory that everything that happened during the so-called Trump's golden years or Trump's isolationism or anything was the deep state, if you would like to call it that way, was already laying the foundation for the entire affair with the country 404. In case our dear viewers do not know which country is the country 404.
No, they know. Okay, my viewers know. My viewers know what 404 is, and they also know about Brigade 77.
Yes,
so yeah.
But the point is that what I wanted to and there is also deep involvement by our own political establishment in the entire thing, was that in entire Europe, up from the point of ascent of Trump in basically January 2017 up until February 2022, when the entire thing got a green light, they actively performed multitude and multiple color revolutions on steroids. There were Euromaidans after Euromaidans after Euromaidans. First of all, we all know what happened, for example, in Slovakia, where I work. We all know how suddenly one dear little journalist who was just exploring the mafia and the dealings with the mafia was somehow assassinated by the Sicilian mafia of all the possible mafias. But then, oh my God, that Sicilian mafia was actually working for the current prime minister of Slovakia. Oh, really now? Suddenly, you had a grassroots movement. Of course, nothing of that was really financed by the certain embassy in Bratislava. No. And then they removed that said prime minister and installed their own government of their choice. Then were the series of pressures on Hungary, Romania, and Poland. Poland was broken into complete submission in 2019, where you saw the drastic turn from Poland being like, we will take zero migrants, from being like, but we cannot take any more. Oh, really? And which ones did you take? All because certain gender decided to organize a huge demonstrations there and huge rallies and huge parades and everything, because their actions failed in Belarus at that year. Then we had a series of pressures on Hungary, which is like the only country that has endured all of that and has managed to survive, and in which their current ruling establishment is the same one for basically over a decade now. How did Orban manage to survive that? That is beyond me. I really don't know how. Because he did not go the way of Lukashenko, which is basically just annihilate the opposition and quite physically kill them all. Nor was it any type of agreement or cacking to the opposition, which Poland did. And finally, the big change also entails what was done in Austria to the Österreichisches Volkspartei and also the Freiheitpartei Österreich, which was basically the coalition between the moderate cuckolded right of Austrian People's Party and the Freedom Party of Austria, which was pretty much far right. But then, and that is like the important part in which our own state and our own establishment were involved, was that when they organized the entire meeting, which was then framed as a meeting with supposed Russian oligarchs for a funding of the Austrian right wing, the supposed Russian in that recording was actually a bitch from Belgrade, from the party of our dear Minister of something, eternal minister in government, Ivica Dačić, and from his party, who was half a year before that, was married to a guy who, she married a guy who is a journalist at the Austrian television, and he organized the entire thing. Yeah, I'm sure he had no financial incentives by anyone to do that. And then again, that was used, first of all, to destroy the ruling government there. They annihilated first the Hofner from the Freedom Party, him. Then they, by proxy, they weakened and annihilated Sebastian Kurz. They broke his political career. And that additionally was used by our own state and our own corrupted state officials to push Kurz's construction company Strabag, not his personal, but in which he has quite a share in their stocks. They used multiple excuses to push him out of any engineering and civil engineering deals within Serbia, in order to hand those civil engineering deals not to the evil Chinese, which are demonized by the Western media, or anyone else, but to actually the Turks and the Turkish companies, which then again is like, Jesus Christ. I mean, like we have seen that the quality.
It could be worse.
We have seen the quality. We have seen the quality of Turkish civil engineering in that, yes, in that earthquake.
Without like one building of the guy who made the code stood, and like the whole neighborhood was flat. Yeah, everybody remembers
basically,
that.
No. The only building that actually stood in one village was the old Roman fort, which was built in the time of some forgotten Roman emperor.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either. I want to swiftly, because we're already almost 40 minutes in. I want to swiftly move into Serbian memes, and you sent this along, and it says inside you there are two wolves, you and the Serbian patriot, and this is the Serbian response to the Russian way of waging war. Expletive. The useless Russians, why don't they just throw an atomic bomb? instead of humiliating themselves like this.
Compared to
the Russian will the Russians will take back everything all the way to Lvov, and the Ukrainians are just wasting the reserves, and they'll soon break through Chasiv Yar, and later they'll come to the Danube.
Well, that is again like why even us, compared to what was discussed before, why we would have a problem of moving to Russia. The difference in mentality. Why they cannot understand why Yugoslavia collapsed, and why did we end up in what is commonly referred to by West when they try to use it derogatory, but I find it very appropriate, the orgy of violence. Again, that is because Russians have approached this war from the very beginning, possibly. I will give them the benefit of a doubt of them changing their mindset after the Ukrainian invasion into the Kursk region. But I'm still waiting to see if that will actually materialize. But up until that point, they have approached this entire war with the wrong footing. They have approached the war of basically this is a fratricidal war. This is basically a Russian civil war within Greater Russia itself. And we are dealing with our poor deluded brothers who were duped into fighting us by an evil regime installed by America. They have forgotten to take into account over 100 years of imaginary national identity built on lies and on basically being anti-Russian in every single possible little aspect in which it can be anti-Russian. And then only in the last 10 years was that, or even 20 years if you take the Orange Revolution, the first of the Maidan revolutions, or actually the second one, if you take the one which was done to us in 2000 was the first one, then they will be the silver medalist of that. But they are only recently dealing with an occupational foreign regime installed by America. That regime could not have endured, could not have survived for a fraction of a second if it was installed in 1994. Or if there was no Soviet Union, or if there was like completely independent Ukraine, if it was like installed in 1984 or 1974. It could only come and could only flourish when the sufficient enough groundwork was laid. And that groundwork and everything like that was completely ignored by Russians. We, on the other hand, and that is why we are having such a duality, we know who our enemies are. We know that they are not some long-lost deluded brothers or anything like that. I mean, like, we know, but we know that there is no way of bringing them back into the fold. There is no way that you will take any of our near enemies in Croatia or in Bosnia or even Montenegro or wherever. You cannot take them and suddenly after, like, I don't know, 10 or 20 years of re-educating them or something, that you will make them Serbs again. It is quite impossible. It is what a good presence on the entire Serbian internet community from the former channel of Daily Dose of Occupation, their admin referred to that as a conversion complex. That once when they convert out of the original thing, out of being a Serb in our case, or being a Russian in their case, They cannot
There's
be
no
brought.
way come back.
There is no way back. It is basically the funny part now is like once she goes black, she never will come back, right? The same is applied to this. Once they abandon their Serbhood or their Russianhood, they will never, ever, under any circumstance, come back. They might be cowed. Like if Russia came quickly in and smashed the regime and occupied the entire country, blah, 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 blah. And even if now, if they somehow force the Ukrainians to surrender, and the Ukrainians accept everything, in 20 years you will have the same thing all over again. Because at this point, the only solution, you know which it is, but that is the word, if I utter here, you will not only use your monetization, you will probably get banned. So I will not say the G word.
The aircraft carrier that's unsinkable. Anyway, Albanian monuments in Kosovo versus Serbian monuments in Kosovo. Shout out to Serbian Metaverse Quest on Instagram, whose memes I have been sharing here and I stole a couple of days ago and I shared in the chat on Telegram. Join the Telegram to get more updates on stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Also, this is what basically you were talking about. So all these lost Serbs can never be Serbs again, is what you're saying.
Unfortunately, some elements within them who are friendly to us can be used for our own purposes. But one must never keep out of their mind that they are not Serbs in the first place. So basically, you can have a good some coat with which you can have cooperation, with which you can have, which is usually talked to with when it comes to our liberal parts of us. The good neighborly.
I don't have it queued, but if I could, I would play the video of the Nazis in Croatia at the recent meeting, having a little walk.
No, the thing is like when they try to refer to them as like our good neighbors. I'm sure you're familiar with that. You might even be a good neighbor with them, but they will never be us again. They have been forcefully removed, and as such, they cannot never be like rebaptized, re-Serbed, I don't know, re-Orthodoxed or whatever. It is quite impossible.
When I asked you to send memes, this is one of the memes that you sent along. Why did you send? And who is this Hannah Pearl Davis? Why did you bother sending this along?
She's the person which is basically the current embodiment of the trad wife bullshit. And this will probably be received badly by most of your viewers. That entire trad wife story is a big scam. It is basically
what's a trad
being
wife?
used.
For people who don't know, explain what a trad wife is.
It is this, if you would return that picture which you just shown. Basically an old... again, W word. I don't know if I can use the W word or the S word. But
promiscuous girl, liberal.
Yes, usually the woman with no morals whatsoever. When such a woman, when she feels the age is starting to creep in, when she starts feeling that there is basically the inner voice within her, which is actually her womb, which is yelling like, put a baby in me, for Christ's sakes. However, she, of course, doesn't do that. And then she tries to marry herself off. And at that point, she would try to pretend that she's good, she's moral, she's like the best traditional wife. She would jump on the entire stereotype of it, which was firstly made by the previous incarnation of the trad wife, which was Lauren Southern, if you know that one.
No,
however,
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Also, she was pretty much involved with formerly, with the radical dissident right in Europe, with identitarians, if you know the identitarian movement within Western Europe.
No, I don't follow left politics that deeply.
No. This is actually right wing. These guys are actually really right wing. Oh. But they were thoroughly infiltrated because, one of them was her, and another one was our dear aforementioned Michael. But the entire thing was that, she was the first trad wife. She was trying to pretend that, she can cook, she'll be your good wife, she'll give you many children, blah, 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 the entire 9 yards. Then she ended up basically falling for some half black, half white, half something guy from Puerto Rico. And then when people who are actually pretty much very racist in that entire community were like, wait, you are one of us, and yet you are dating the N-word person. She was like, but he voted for Donald Trump. As if that will somehow dispel all the bad things. And now you're having the second iteration of the same thing, Hannah Pearl Davis, which is at even younger age, she has felt that what Stéphane Molyneux would say, she's running out of eggs, that she wants to get herself married and everything. But considering that she had 4 black ex-boyfriends, you can pretty much draw your own conclusions. Compared to our trad wives in Serbia, which are basically called the monastery woman in a most derogatory way possible, is basically your average, again, woman with no morals whatsoever, which will on a Saturday evening go to your local bar or a restaurant or a club or whatever, and will, herself out, and will drink and will do drugs and everything, but will somehow miraculously be able to attend the Sunday morning service in the church. She will attend what the Catholics would call Mass in church, or what the Orthodox correctly call liturgy in the church. And then she will post pictures from that on her Instagram, chastising you for not being there. Because somehow her attending all of that is making her far better than you. And you, if you spent your Sunday evening working your ass off, in my case, checking some project for some, bridge or whatever, doesn't matter. Or in your case, you were preparing yet another video for your channel. So basically all of us have something to do. She had nothing else to do but to go to a random club, not spend a dime of her money, basically spend the money of her simps or those who would hire her services. And then in Sunday morning, she's like, oh, you are not a good Christian because you haven't attended this church service.
Listen, that's a very casual topic for another totally different conversation about another casual YouTube channel and a casual thing that happened casually in Serbia. I think casual. Onako casual, skroz.
Of course, it's so casual, and every similarity,
it's an inside Serbian joke.
And
Yes,
but every similarity with real people is completely just a matter of coincidence.
coincidental.
Trust me.
Exactly. Coincidental. It's a comedy show. Nothing has to do with reality. We already said that at the beginning. Speaking of nothing having to do with reality, that's a perfect segue. Another one from the Serbian Mega Quest, or Meta Quest, sorry, Serbian Meta Quest. Liberals, when there's no evidence of a genocide whatsoever, UN resolution seeks to recognize Bosnian genocide. Liberals, when there's unlimited clear evidence of a genocide. House okay 17 billion in military aid for Israel under major spending package. How do you feel genocidal? Are you like, when you wake up and you're like, I'm a genocidal Serb, how does that make you feel?
Well, I wake up and I figure out that on that day I'm not British and my day is suddenly far better than it was.
By the way, everybody, this is an exclusive pic of the Delfin in the subway. Right here. This is him.
Unfortunately, I was out looking for that goth girl, but you know, happens. Things happen.
I wouldn't be so into the goths, man. They have different levels. Do you want to touch on Serbian Lithium? We've got about 5 minutes to the hour here.
Just a very short thing that basically it is a good recipe for
disaster.
Yes,
World War III.
It is a good no, but for pretty much our general shit show, going from the usual 7 or 8, which is our daily shit show in Serbia, going to I don't know 11 or 12. And at that point, things became quite unmanageable. Yes. Who will fuck up who is beyond me. I don't know that yet. I just know that I am advising you, our dear viewers from Serbia, and all of my friends and all of my dear people, please fuck away from the cities before it starts. Because it will start in the cities and it will not be nice.
Yeah, that's true everywhere. Like we're seeing it develop in the UK currently.
Basically, yes. At this point Delfin, in UK, fuck off to a remote island in Scotland. It is far better than staying, I don't know, in Birmingham.
The Scots were always more pleasant than the English. Do you
just a moment, please?
Go on. Oh, are you like pausing?
No, I'm not pausing. I'm just grabbing a fresh drink. All
right.
These quite lovely subjects have made me quite thirsty.
we're gonna be wrapping this up really soon. I just wanted to get any final thoughts from you as I post this meme that you sent along to how should I say, give people an idea of Serbian chat rooms in meme pages. You want to translate this for people?
Yes, when someone from our illustrious meme community and the illustrious internet presence within Serbia tries to be funny and then utterly fails. So the translation is that it is very funny. Here, the entire monastery is laughing. Or actually, the most correct translation of the last word is actually the entire monastery is giggling like little girls.
Basically. So with a monastery that's giggling like little girls, Delfin, thank you for this exclusive talk. Everybody who stayed around to the end, thank you. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Delfin, we will see you soon. Thank you for coming on.
Glad to be here. Excellent. Thank you and take care.
See you soon, everyone.